What's up, people? Perry here with a special episode of WildStyle. And as it is the holiday season, right now we're spending a lot of time with family and all that stuff, so there may be a little bit of a gap between videos as we go along because, I don't really have as much time as I would like to in order to concentrate on doing Minecraft videos for you guys. But this is a special episode because I did the previous video that I did was the Christmas tree special, and it all revolved around building an MC edit and all that stuff. And I got a comment from somebody and I'm gonna butcher your name, so I'm sorry. It's Guilherme Theodoro, and he says, "Oh, I was really hoping this was a survival tutorial of a smaller tree. But very cool anyway, will try myself." And that really just inspired me to just do a survival tree for you guys. And it's a little bit difficult to take the MC Edit version of my Christmas tree, even though it's really large in scale. Trying to condense it down into somewhat of a manageable version for survival. But we're going to do it. I've made some tweaks here and there to the process, but the idea behind it is that it makes it easier for you guys to kind of develop your own tree. So the first thing that we have to do is take a sleep because the sun's going down, and I'll be right back with you. All right, and we are back. Now, the first thing that we want to do is to get a good base going, and I decided to build the tree on top of our farm because it seems like an appropriate place, especially with the circular structure the way it is, and our tree is going to be circular in shape, so it kind of matches up. But what we want to do first is to get a good tree trunk going. Now, obviously, the higher up you go, the more detail you'll be able to put into your tree. But it really is up to your discretion, and obviously, the higher up you go, the more detail that you do have to add, and that can be a little bit time consuming here and there. But what I want to do is to get the basic structure going, the basic idea. And it's always a good starting point whenever you're constructing something is to get go with the broad shape first before you start concentrating on the details. So what I'm doing here is I'm just setting out some dirt, and I did not think this one through. I guess we'll just jump down. It's okay. I got feather falling. But what we need to do is to get the basic shape. So some sort of angled down line. Now in the MC Edit tutorial of our Christmas tree, I ended up going down by 3 blocks and then extending out by 1. And this time is going to be no different. So what I want to do is to try and figure out how to do this without going through too much trouble. So we've gone down three blocks and then come out 1, another 3, and then I'm going to put 1 there and then come out 1, and then we're going to proceed down another 3, and that's not the right place to put that, and we're going to do that. It's really up to you where you decide to put the blocks and everything, but you know what, like I said in the previous video, it's really what I found to be the best. So go with what you want. Doesn't really matter. So let's get rid of all of this, and then we can take a look at the shape. Hopefully things will look all right. Yeah, okay, so we got a good basic shape here. And the next thing that we want to do is to start making our circles, our circular shape to fill in the rest of the tree. Now, of course, you can use a circular tool yourself. For me, I typically use I would use either MC Edit or something else, but since we're in survival, I would normally go with the circle making tool. And if you don't know what the circle making tool is, you just Google circle making tool in Google, and it's pretty much the first or second link. So what I'm doing right now is I'm guessing very poorly on how to make a circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away, and then when we come back, I will show you the finished product. All right, so I've gotten all figured out. Ignore this little bit on the side there. That's just how I get up and down it. But we have the basic shape of the tree. Of course, your tree may differ depending on how you design it or how you feel it should look. But the next thing that we want to do is we want to get our spruce leaves up on deck here, or whatever leaf you decide looks best in your tree. And we're going to go along here and we're going to try and figure out a good pattern. Now, the difference between the MC Edit version of my Christmas tree and this version, the survival Christmas tree, is that with the MC Edit version, I ended up, crafting a bunch of patterns, and then after that we ended up stacking them on top of each other. But in this situation, probably won't be the best, especially because, well, we're placing each block by hand. And in MC Edit, for me, the best thing or the most powerful thing about using MC Edit is that whole copy and paste function, which allows me to build things quite high up or in a larger scale. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through a different process and just follow along with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this off into quarters. Okay. So something like this. And then from there, we can design a pattern to fit into this quarter. Now, the idea that we want to do here is that we don't necessarily want to follow this dirt border here. We want to have a little bit of variation in the tree, because if we just fill all these in with leaves, you end up with a circular tree, and we kind of want to give it a little bit of character, right? So you can go ahead and try and place leaves wherever. Just try and design the quarter as you see fit. For myself, I think maybe we'll go out past the dirt borders just a little bit here and there. Maybe one here. I'm filling it in. It looks like I'm filling it in right now, but I will take away some leaves here and there. Okay. And so we'll empty that hole there, and maybe we'll take that out. So something like that. And maybe we'll empty out this little patch here. So we have a good little pattern to go off with. Of course, this dirt, when we remove it, will of course not be in the way of our look for the tree. But these little gaps here, like this will be an empty gap. This will add to the detail of your tree. And the next thing that we want to do is, once you've designed this quarter, we want to repeat this over on this side. So something like that. Get rid of that block and add on to there. I'm just trying to figure out, I'm trying to get my bearings is what I'm trying to do, because in MC Edit it's much easier to do because you just copy and paste, but since you're placing each block individually, you of course need to know where everything needs to be. So something like that. And like that. I think we want to come out to here. And I think these are supposed to be spruce blocks. So I'll get those in. So something like that. And you just do that all the way around the tree. But the next step after that is to just go up one layer and then, come up with another different design. It doesn't have to be, well, it can't be the same as the last layer, because obviously if you copy that, you end up with kind of a uniform pattern as you go up. So you probably want to keep things a little loose, try to keep things natural, and see what you come up with, right? So just go ahead, go figure out whatever patterns you desire to fill in the tree. I mean, as we look back right now, it doesn't really look like much, but I think once we get the whole pattern together, I think we'll come up with something pretty neat. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And when we come back, I'll have the final product for you of the actual tree. All right, and here's our finished tree project. Of course, we don't have our decorations on yet. That we will do in time, but getting a good look at it, you can see there's some detail here and there. Of course, it's a little bit symmetrical, and the reason why I said to kind of copy over your quarter design to make the half design is that you generally don't want to try and differ too much when you're building up your tree, because you end up with a lopsided half. So that's why I say it's usually a good idea to just kind of mirror your designs. But of course, you could just make a lopsided tree. That would be fine too, if you like it. If you like it, then go with it. Why not, right? Why not? So the next thing that we want to do is to go ahead with our decorations. Now, usually what has been done in the past is you use either wool blocks, or I've seen item frames with a block inside of them. The item frame thing is not really my thing, because I feel that it's a little bit too complicated. It looks a little bit too much for me. But then I remembered about these stained glass, and I decided to give it a shot. Now, it gives you a little bit of a different look to it. The wool blocks will they stand out much better in a tree. However, with these stained glass, if I can put one in there, it kind of gives a little bit of a muted look. And to me, that kind of works for me, because I didn't want to take away too much attention from the way that the tree looks. So all we have to do now is just kind of go around and of course place different colors here and there. Try not to be too symmetrical with your design. Whatever you come up with, it's just about placing blocks wherever you so choose. The yellow ones, I'm really finding that they really stand out apart from any other of the blocks that I've seen. In terms of lighting for the tree, that's really up to you. You can put torches. I would recommend putting torches somewhere inside the tree. For me, I'm just going to leave it plain, but if you feel the need to light up your tree, obviously go right ahead and do it. But I would suggest that you kind of stay away from lighting up the outside, and maybe keep the lighting on the inside. Maybe some glowstone in the trunk would be good. But again, it's up to you. For me, I like leaving it plain, just getting all the ornaments on there. Try not to messy it up too much, if that's a word. But I'm going to go ahead and proceed with filling up the rest of this tree with these ornaments. And when we come back, we'll see a final product of the tree. All right, and here's the final product of our tree. I kind of caved in a little and decided to add in lighting, because in the dark everything wasn't really showing up that well. So I added in some glowstone. You can kind of see it right there, there, and there. But I feel that keeping the lighting on the inside doesn't take away from the stuff that's going on the outside. So you can see I've added in the stained glass blocks here and there. Try to keep things or asymmetrical, or basically not symmetrical, if you don't know what asymmetrical is. And at the top there, I added in these stained glass panes at the top, just to give it a little something extra. I felt that it looked like a star to me. Use your imagination. You may come up with something better yourself. Go right ahead, feel free to use that. But that should be it for the tree, and that should be it for this episode, this shortened episode, this special episode. Thanks to Guilherme for the idea of building a survival tree, because I know that some of you out there don't play creative or the way I do with using MC Edit. So this is a good way for you to kind of make your own Christmas tree in your own world. So that's it for me. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, your awesome comments that I always love reading. Don't forget to hit the like button if you so choose. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It keeps you up to date on everything that goes on in it. So, again, that's it for me. Always remember, keep your head up, and I'll see you in the next one.